Very likely, very likely. I think there are a few things we need to make a note of with these latest attacks. The first concerns, of course, claims by the government in 2020 that the BLA, the Baloch Liberation Army, which has claimed responsibility for these attacks, was significantly weakened. Now, these attacks clearly put those claims in question because what we've seen are attacks which bear all the hallmarks of an organization that is fully capable of launching coordinated, extremely coordinated and deadly attacks across a wide region. I think the other point to note with regard to these attacks and why they are potentially so serious is that they are bound to raise serious doubts about the security of key development projects in the province of Balochistan. Of course, we have there the Chinese-led China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a multi-billion-dollar project, with the development of Gwadar Port along the southern coast of Balochistan in the making at the moment. But there is also the multinational mining project led by the Canadian mining company Barrick Gold. Now, this is located in the Chagai district of Balochistan, which is said to be very rich in copper and gold reserves. And the current army chief is personally and institutionally deeply invested in this project and, has pulled out all the stops to ensure its success. I think the final point that we need to make with regard to these attacks, and that's an important symbolic point, and that is that they mark the 18th anniversary of the killing of an influential Baloch tribal leader, Akbar Bukti, in August of 2006.
Well, can you tell us a bit more about the BLA, the group that have claimed these attacks, and what their motivation is and why they've targeted these areas?
The BLA is an organization that was created in 2000. It's been banned since 2006 and banned not just by Pakistan, but also by several Western governments. It is an armed militant group which the Pakistan government claims operates from bases inside Iran, which partly explains, of course, those attacks by Pakistan targeting Baloch militants on Iranian territory way back in January. So we've got here a situation where the BLA attempts to coordinate and to articulate Baloch grievances that have been present pretty much since the inception of the state, grievances that center on a resource-rich province whose population believe that they have been deprived of the dividends of those resources. It is, I must say, one of the most deprived regions of Pakistan, the largest in terms of territory, least populated, but mineral rich. And, this is by no means the first indication of popular resentment against a state many Baloch feel have deprived the Baloch of their rightful inheritance.
Well, Pakistan's government has already pledged retribution for the attacks, but what can it do to prevent more violence?
Well, way back in July of 24, last month actually, the government came up with a new counterterrorism strategy to deal with extremism and terrorism. But of course, this would not be the first counterterrorism strategy. I mean, there have been several in the past, and the critics of this latest strategy believe that unless there is some kind of holistic, integrated strategy to really address root causes of Baloch grievances and indeed grievances elsewhere in Pakistan, along its northwest frontier with Afghanistan, this particular counter-terrorism policy is also destined to fail.
Meanwhile, millions of Pakistanis have for weeks been experiencing slow internet connections and problems with accessing social media platforms. What's happening here?
Well, the claim has been that the government is currently engaged in creating a national firewall. So far, of course, the government has been extremely cagey about these allegations. And one of the problems is that, it started off by claiming that it had, in fact, nothing to do with allegations of trying to block internet access, and that, the problem lay in having too many internet users, and then, further problems which had to do with upgrading glitches. Of course, all of these are seen pretty much as lame excuses, because in the meanwhile, there has also been a concerted effort by the military, which, as your viewers will know, exercises immense influence in Pakistan, claims by the military that, in fact, it would be keen to control and curb online dissent. And it has recently launched a campaign against what it calls digital terrorists. And many, of course, see that to be targeting supporters of the jailed opposition leader, Imran Khan, whose millions of supporters are known to be very active social media and internet users.
Well, in any case, the internet slowdown has caused disruptions to businesses and the wider economy. Just very quickly, how significant has this impact been?
Extremely significant. I mean, it has affected Pakistan's service industry, which accounts for about 50% of the economy. Estimated costs of the damage that's likely to be inflicted on the economy range to something like $300 million. Now, this is coming in the wake of Pakistan's crippling economic crisis. Inflation still remains sky high. Taxes have placed an intolerable burden on ordinary Pakistanis. So, really, the economic outlook does not look good in the wake, against the background of these allegations. Excuse my voice.
No worries. We thank you so much for your time, Dr Farzana Shaikh. Really appreciate talking to you.
Thank you very much.